guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Janicia, and in this video, I want to talk about faith and finances because I have done some pretty wild things in my life, okay? Completely crazy. And I've stepped out on major faith a bunch of times. Some things that had my family feeling like I was completely crazy, like I completely lost my mind, and I probably did. But I believed in God and I believed that it was possible, so I did it. No matter what anybody said, no matter the obstacles, no matter like this is an impossible situation, it wasn't for me. I look back on some of the things that I did and I'm like, wow, what was you thinking? I did some wild stuff, okay? But you know what? I would not change a thing. I am so happy that I stepped out on faith on every single thing because those wild things really developed my belief that all things are possible with God. Literally, all things are possible. Not only was all these things possible because I was rich or I had all these connections or whatever, I literally did everything with no money. Like no money. I have traveled to over 11 different countries and I've desired to go to every single place for various reasons. And every time that I wanted to go on these trips, I mustered up the faith, and altogether combined, I probably paid a total of $500 out of my own money to go on these trips when I should have easily paid over $15,000. And when I moved from Florida to California, again, I did not have that much money. I had $500 as well. But I packed up my car and I left the road with $500. Eventually, I got a little bit more money. I got $1,500 before I made it to California, but still, that's not a lot to move across the country. And so I say all this to say that you don't need a bunch of money and a bunch of connections and all these things that you think that you need in order to step out in faith. I get a lot of people write me and email me and hit me up on my Instagram and saying this is what they desire to do, but they don't have the money to do it. Although I know that money is important, please do not misinterpret what I'm trying to say. I wish that back in the day when I wanted to do these things that I had the money to do it, but I didn't at the time. But it wasn't going to stop me from doing what I desired, doing what I felt like God was leading me to. Money would have been amazing, but it was not a hindrance of mine. I feel like it's wise to, when God tells you to do something, that you prepare and you try to do what you can to make it happen. But if you have a short amount of time, or it's an immediate thing, or you just don't see yourself raising that amount of money in order to go and to obey, then I say obey. So I'm not saying just live life with no money, like, hey. But I am saying that if you deeply desire to do something, or if you have heard God tell you to do something, I prefer for you to obey than to worry about if every duck is in alignment. And so to better explain what I'm trying to say, let me share with you one of my faith stories. So I think it was like 2015, and it was this trip that my church was taking. They were going to Jordan, Israel, and Dubai. And at first, I didn't really want to go because I didn't think I could go. I knew I didn't have the money when they were sharing the prices to go. It was like $3,300 or something like that, $3,600. And I knew I didn't have the money, so I just killed that desire. I was like, girl, you're not going. You are not going. What are you kidding me? I had just graduated college, didn't have a job, no money. I wasn't going, you know? And so as we creep up closer and closer, they continue to have meetings, they continue to talk about, okay, if you want to go on the trip, you need to pay X amount by this date and X amount by this date to make sure you have all the money in so they can buy your flights and go on the trip. As we get closer, I started hearing about it more, and my friend was trying to go. Like a desire just crept up in my heart, and I was like, I really want to go. Like, I think I do want to go. And then I started to desire it more and more, and I was like, God, this would be great if I could go to Israel and Jordan and Dubai. It's just something I wanted. It wasn't a mission trip. It wasn't something that I felt like God was telling me to do or anything. It was just something that I really had a desire to do. Now I look back, I know why this trip was important, but then I was just like, I just really want to go on a trip. Like, God, will you help me? I felt like anything that God would come through for on a miracle would have to be something like doing God activities. I don't even know what that means. Listen, I'm just speaking what was in my head at the time. And so I was at the hairdresser. I was getting my hair done one time. I just kept saying it out loud. Well, in my mind, I'm not telling the hairdresser. I was like, I really want to go on this trip. I really want to go on this trip. Now, if you've been to the hairdresser, if you're a black girl, you know that you will be in that thing for 6 hours sometimes, especially under the hairdryer. So I bring material, I bring things to keep me occupied. I brought a book this time. While I was under the hairdryer, I was reading this book, and the author brought up the story of the woman with the issue of blood. The way he said it and told it, it just opened my eyes like no other. He really depicted the woman with the issue of blood. I don't know if you know the story. I'll leave the verse down below. We're not gonna go into it, but I will skim over it. But basically, she had a desire to be healed. She really wanted to be healed. She had been to all kind of doctors. She had done all kind of things, and nothing cured her of her blood issue. So Jesus came to town, and Jesus was known for healing people, right? And so she said it in her heart, if I could just touch the hem of his garment, then I will be healed. She had the desire, and she revved up her faith, and she realized not only that she had to have the faith for it and the desire for it, but she had to put the work in. She's sick. And so I can imagine her trying to push past all these people being sick. And not only that, but I believe that in the Jewish culture, when a woman is bleeding, she's not supposed to touch men or priests or something like that. Don't get me lying. I read it one time. I can't remember the details correctly, but she was not supposed to be out in public or touching priests or whatever when you're bleeding, as well as being on your period. But she wasn't on her period. She was just like always bleeding. So what she was doing was wrong. Not only that, but she was also sick. So not only did she just get the faith and be like, Lord, I just hope that Jesus come to my house today and knock on the door and I'm gonna be healed. She was like, Jesus is in my vicinity. He is here. I need to press in and get healed. And so when I read it, I was like, that's it. Oh, by the way, I was like praying. I was like hoping, God, if it's your desire, please let me go. I was saying like little weak, I don't know, just prayers that God in my story, that he would come knock on the door and hand me some tickets to Israel and go on the trip. Like, it wasn't gonna work like that. If I wanted what I said that I wanted, I had to put the work in. And as soon as I realized that, it's like a light bulb just clicked in my mind. And I was like, I got to put the work in. So at the time, I just graduated. I do not have a job yet. I was trying to just kind of chill after graduation and just get my mind together, because college can be a lot, right? And so I didn't have money, but I knew I wanted to go. So when the bell clicked that I put the work in, I had to deliver, I believe, at least 50 to 75% of the money within like a week and a half from that point. My mind was awakened, and I started thinking of other ways that I can get money. I started thinking about, okay, what do I own that I could pawn? What do I have that I could sell? Who can I reach out to who would love to help me? Like, before then, I wasn't thinking about that, because I was just, my initial thought was I couldn't go because I didn't have the money. Then when I wanted to go, I was like, God help me, you bring me the money. And then I was like, God will bless me. Let me put the work in to get the money. So the next day, I realized that I had a bunch of gold jewelry that was sitting in my drawer for years. Like, when I was young, I used to be iced out. I used to have bracelets, whole bunch of necklaces, earrings, rings, ankle bracelets. Like, I was drenched. I felt like I was like Gucci Man when I was little. Like, I don't know why. I just had a bunch of jewelry, and I would always get it for my birthday and Christmas and stuff. But as I got older, I just kind of stopped wearing it. And so I just put it in my drawer, and I was like, I have a bunch of jewelry, and I'm always seeing these We Buy Gold commercials. I was like, let me go see how much I can get for it. I didn't know. I thought I was gonna get like $200, or I didn't know how much gold was worth. So I took it there, and they gave me $1,900. So as soon as my mind changed, my faith revved up, my desire revved up, as well as my work revved up, I got $1,900 in 24 hours when I was not even aware of that before. And then my mom had some jewelry, and so she had some jewelry that she didn't really wear. So I went and I pawned her stuff, and I think I got another like $400. And then I started telling people, and I started reaching out to people. And my grandmother gave me like a couple $100, and my auntie gave me a couple $100, and other people started giving me this money until the point where I had I want to say it was like 75% that you needed to have before the trip, and you needed to give them the other 25% when you got back. So I was like, bet, I got 75% of the money. Let me give that to them now, and I'll give them the rest when I get back. Because I had run out of time. I was like, I need this money fast. So I think it was like $2,800 that I was able to give them before I left. And that came out of nowhere. I got $2,400 in like 7 days. When previously I was like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. Or, God, you're gonna have to drop this money in my lap. Like, it just blew my mind that all it took was an adjustment of my mind as well as faith. And so I say that story to say that, yes, it would have been great if I had been saving that money because I was working so hard and I had this job. That would have been great, and that would have been my story, and I would have went on the trip, and it would have been wonderful. But I really desired to go, and I was not in a situation where I had the money, but it did not stop me. I had to figure out how it was going to get done. So I am saying to you, if you deeply desire to do something, do not let money hold you back. No, I don't want you to go in a bunch of debt to do stuff because you didn't have the physical cash to do it. But I do not want you to miss out on what life has for you, what God has for you. That money that other people gave to me, that jewelry and gold that I sold was always there. But it took my courage to step out. I had already said I was going. I had already gave her my information, took pictures of my passport, all the information that they needed for me. I had already started the application to be able to go on the trip. And I had already started getting the money and slowly paying them the money. Once my ticket was bought and the trip could not be refunded, best believe I really started looking for ways to get money, because I was like, you mean $1,900 is not refundable? Okay, let me get the rest of the money real quick. Like, it wasn't like, I tried, it didn't work. I was like, no, I could have kept that money if not. We're going on this trip. And that was only one of my faith stories. I have many more, some a lot crazier than that. But it developed something in me to know that all things are possible. All things are possible through Christ. I just had to have that faith and the works to get it done. So if you're desiring to do something or to have something, please do not let finances hold you back. And things may not happen 100% to perfection. When I moved to LA, I thought all of this stuff was going to happen, and it didn't happen exactly how I wanted to. But guess what? I got there and I was able to sustain myself for 2 years. I left willingly, not because I had to. So I dare you to believe for it and let your eyes be open to what is around you and who is around you, and work for it and go after it. Nothing should be able to hold you back. All right, y'all, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so because I would love to see you more often. And I'll see you later. Bye.